All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Underground with the Unbounds. The name is LJ, the host, alongside the ghost that wrote this intro. Joining us on this episode is another special somebody from right here within these borders. Although she's international, it is my pleasure to introduce to y'all astrologer psychic Monica. Hi, Monica. How you doing?
Hi, LJ. Thank you so much for inviting me to the Unbound Traveler. Thank
Hey,
you
man.
so much.
Hey. All right, please let our viewers and our listeners know who Monica is and what Monica does.
Okay, Monica is a digital marketer by profession who has a deep interest in spirituality and connecting with all things spiritual.
Mm. Okay. So I checked out your page on Facebook, Spiritual Phoenix, right?
Yes, the spiritual
According,
phoenix.
according to the description, you are an astrologer psychic. So I just wanted to know from you what exactly being psychic means.
Okay, in my own words, I would say being a psychic is being able to decipher and then process hidden knowledge.
Okay.
Yes, using your sixth sense or other gifts that you would be using. And there are different types of psychic abilities like clairvoyance, clairaudience, telekinesis, divination, astral projection, levitation, energy medicine. So, what I believe is that every single person on this earth has their own special gift
Mm-hmm.
that at any given time or any given moment you are able to tap into this gift. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, so what you're saying is that anybody, it can be an innate ability, or one can go to school for it.
Some people go to school for it. Some people are able to nurture and train themselves
Mm,
to be able to use it without going for training. Like I didn't go for any training.
mm,
I just I realized that I had that unique gift. I think from a young age, but I didn't really know that it was a gift until later on in my life.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So how would you define astrology, and how exactly does it affect an individual's daily maneuverings?
When it comes to astrology, I think we should start with the definition of astrology, which is studying the universe and everything that makes up the universe. That would be your galaxies, your planets, the moon, the sun, and stars. So with astronomy, you would be studying exactly what are these things made out of? What are the planets made out of? What are the
Mm,
stars made out of?
mm,
So astrology is more about connecting how the universe and the stars affects people
mm,
or the earth.
okay.
Yeah. So usually when it comes to astrology, scientists would say it's a pseudoscience. There's a lot of controversy on whether it's a real science or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I have actually grown to see the benefits and the use of astrology, especially when it came to understanding myself and then having the ability to deeply understand other people.
Mm, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So astrology, I would actually liken it to psychology in a sense,
Mm,
but astrology actually has the ability to get even deeper. Like,
deeper. Yeah.
yeah,
Mm,
because it gives you like a birthright, like a not a birthright, but a blueprint on someone's destiny and what they're here to do on
Mm.
this earth when they're born,
Yeah.
because you would actually create like a birth chart using someone's date of birth, the location in which they were born, the time, and the year.
Mm.
And then that would then help you to plot um, where the planets were, at what degree they were in, at what sign they were in. And then that would help you to then be able to clearly understand what kind of person is this, what kind of career would suit them, what type of relationship do they need,
Yeah.
what do they expect in their friendships, what
Mm.
health ailments would they possibly suffer from, which area in the world would they live peacefully in,
Uh,
So there's a lot of things you can actually get out of astrology. It can even help you to choose the right career, the right business, um, also to understand your children, your parents. There's a lot of
okay. Uh,
yeah.
okay. Just I think adding on to that, when it comes to astrology, one thing that is common, or one thing that I hear a lot is planets being in retrograde and how they affect people and things on planet Earth and whatnot, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
for example, during Mercury retrograde, you tend to get technology acting up or whatever, or something like that. You correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah. So these are some of the examples that happen, of the things that happen, but it seems like we're unconsciously, we don't notice them, you know.
Yes, and that is where astrology comes to play, because it'll be a way in which for us to understand how does the planet Mercury actually affect us here on Earth,
Yeah.
which is actually part of the reason why it's such a controversial topic as to is it an actual science, because it's kind of hard to like physically point out that Mercury up there is actually affecting us.
Mm.
But when you look at maybe the position that Mercury would be in, and then if it's as the planet decides to start going backwards,
Mm.
astrologers, including myself, have actually figured out that when it starts to go backwards, it kind of affects how we as human beings communicate here on Earth.
Uh,
Maybe even our cars, like even when it comes to short distance traveling,
yeah.
we can experience complications due to Mercury going backwards. Because when
Okay.
it's going forward, it is encouraging us to be able to communicate clearly. It helps us to be able to launch business meetings, to have clear conversations when it comes to our family, our friends, our relationships. When it comes to um, broadcasting information in general, right? And when
Mm.
it comes to electric devices and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So when it's going backwards, you would liken it to maybe, let's say, if you're in a car and you're moving forward, right?
Mm-hmm.
You are going somewhere. You are like you're moving forward. You're not just staying stagnant. So if
True.
you are now driving backwards, that means that you are now going back to where you came from.
Yes.
So when a planet is in retrograde, that means that it's a time for you to now go back and reflect and review. Um, I mean, we are talking about Mercury right now. So that
Yeah.
would mean it would be a time for you to go and review and reflect how you communicate.
Okay.
Yeah. And
All
that's
right.
also a period in time where like a past people would come back. Maybe people that you fell out with a long time ago, they'll start coming back because they want to now reflect and review and rework
Wow.
past communications and past conversations that didn't go right. So that's the power of like when a planet is retrograde.
And this is all within
So
astrology.
astrology shows like, yeah, that is the power of astrology.
Mm.
Yeah, because it would actually show you the patterns. Like it actually has patterns that will show you how, okay, when this planet was going backwards, human beings and the people on earth actually experienced this and this and this happening. When Jupiter was going retrograde, this is what happened. When Saturn was going retrograde, this is what happened.
Ah,
So astrology helps us to understand
okay.
that fact.
All right. So, what event or events led you to finding your selfness within astrology?
I can't even say it's just astrology in general. I started um, to want to know more about myself, why I act the way I act, why do people act the way they act, why do I react the way I do, why do the people around me react the way I do, I mean, the way that they do.
Mm.
And I guess I'm just someone who likes to look for deeper meanings in life. I don't just take things at face value.
Mm.
I like questioning things. I want to find out why something is like how it is, you know.
Mm.
I want to find out why things are the way they are and understand
Okay.
um, what it means for something to be the way that it is.
Mm.
So my relationship with spirituality started probably in my early teens when I started reading about zodiac signs, horoscopes, stuff like that, and I was just kind of fascinated that most often than not, my horoscope would be correct,
Mm.
and I find that it would actually guide me in some sort of way.
Okay.
But I always knew that within me that even if my horoscope says A, it doesn't mean that I should always do A. Like I would always just use it as a guideline and I'll just,
Yeah.
play around
Yeah.
with it and see, okay, how does this relate on this day? How does it relate on this week and this month and stuff like that? So I started to research more on astrology and stuff like that. And I
Mm.
guess it helped me to connect to my other spiritual abilities and deepen my psychic abilities
Okay.
because astrology and psychic abilities are actually two different things. Astrology can be learned by anyone. I mean, you can go on the internet and you can start to research about that.
Mm-hmm.
But with psychic abilities, like we said earlier, it takes you can either go to a professional, but I don't encourage people to go to professionals. I actually encourage people to learn how to awaken themselves
Mm.
and awaken their psychic abilities by themselves.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. That was beautiful.
All right. Awesome. Awesome.
Emma, so still on the topic of research, what do you have any book you would recommend for anyone who wants to delve into astrology, the basics or whatever?
Um, I know the title of the book. Do I know
Hmm.
the author?
Yeah, I'm sure they'll find it. Yeah, you can mention the title.
Let me check the easiest book. Astrology using the wisdom of the stars in your everyday life.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, using the
Sounds like
wisdom
it
of the stars in.
sounds like a detailed book.
Yes, It's very
Okay.
detailed.
All right.
It will definitely help someone who is looking to learn about themselves on a deeper level.
Mm.
And essentially, when you learn about yourself, you are able to understand your environment and other people on a deeper level.
Mm.
And that makes it easier for you when it comes to interacting with others on a daily basis,
All right. All right.
because we are all different. Our birth charts will even show us that we are all different. Like, for example, you can put two Geminis in one room
Mm.
and
Mm.
they'll both be two different people, even though their sun signs are Gemini.
That
One
is.
might have a Sagittarius moon, and the other one might have a Taurus moon,
Mm-hmm.
and then the other one might have maybe some aspects to their moon. Maybe they would have a Pluto opposite moon, or I mean, their moon is conjunct Uranus. So there are different aspects that affect us.
All right.
That is why one uniform for all doesn't really work, because we're
Mm.
all unique. And that's
Mm.
what I love about spirituality in general, because it gives the individual a chance to connect with spirit, to connect with the universe in their own terms.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
When it comes to religion, you know that religion is very organized.
Yeah.
There's a hierarchy, it's very orderly, and I also feel like it's a bit washed down.
Mm.
Yeah, I feel like it actually manipulates the public to to not open their minds, to not be independent beings, and it also opens them to be utilized and manipulated to agree to things. With spirituality, you actually build your own relationship with spirit from scratch.
Mm.
Yeah,
All right.
and that will when you build your own relationship with spirit from scratch, it will
Mm.
help you to understand what is your purpose
Mm.
in life.
Yeah.
Why are you here on this earth? Because we're all here for a reason. Everyone
That's.
has their own mission.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
All right.
The
Okay.
spiritual phoenix will use
Uh-huh.
tarot readings,
Mm.
numerology reports to be able to assist clients to be able to unearth their true nature
And,
and get rid of the hindrances and obstacles that are in their way to actualizing themselves on a deeper level.
all right. Okay. So, sis, I've seen you speaking a lot about shadow work. Can you just explain a bit about what it is and what its significance is in unearthing the various levels of one's spiritual consciousness?
When it comes to shadow work, I would say shadow work is uncovering parts of yourself that you hide away from everyone else.
Mm.
These are parts of yourself that you would actually be able to easily recognize within others, but you are unable to recognize them within yourself.
Mm.
Yeah.
All
So these
right.
would be like unflattering, toxic, or maybe negative aspects of ourselves, our deeply animalistic survival aspects of ourselves that step in to protect us, really, to be honest. I mean, our shadow is the answer to the invisible and I could say indirect
Mm.
wounding of our inner child.
Okay.
Um, yeah.
All right.
That's what I could say about shadow work. Yes.
Okay, so what would be the first step in dealing with shadow work? Because it sounds a lot like for example, somebody who's an alcoholic. According to me, maybe I think for you to be able to deal with it, you have to admit that there's some work to be done, and that takes a lot. But I want to hear it from your perspective.
Okay. Shadow work. I don't know. I have three examples.
Yeah.
I have the Joker. The Joker. Everyone knows the Joker, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Gotham's bad guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the good guy would be Batman.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if we were to combine Batman and the Joker together,
Mm.
that would be a whole human being
Mm. Okay.
where we would have a good side and a bad side.
Mm.
But usually, as human beings, we always want to show our good side, right?
Yep.
We don't want people to see our bad side. We don't want to be associated with the characteristics of the Joker.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm.
the irony of it all is that everyone has some aspects of the Joker within us.
Mm. Yes.
And no matter how much we try and hide it or run away from that, it it always comes out one way or the other.
Yeah.
Most times it will come out in ways that we did not even expect it to come out.
Mm.
And it usually hurts a lot of the people. I mean, people that are closest to us are the ones that are liable to experience our shadow side.
Yeah.
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 And then another example would be your Dr. Jacqueline and Mr. Hyde. That's two characteristics of a person. As in Dr. Jacqueline would be like the good guy that everyone loves, and then Mr. Hyde would be the other side of the same person who
Mm.
does like these evil and terrible things.
Mm.
And then another example for your shadow side would be the movie The Hunger Games,
Mm.
where people had to now fend for themselves, and the top priority was to survive, and their shadow side had to come to the forefront to the extent where they would actually kill people to be able to
Mm.
survive.
Mm.
So our shadow is really part of our subconscious mind,
Mm.
and what people fail to realize is the power of our subconscious mind is unbelievable.
The
If we do
underworld.
not take the initiative, yeah, our underworld, like
Mm.
if we do not take the initiative to, you know, embrace
Yeah.
our shadow
Uh, Allow it to
and
come forth.
allow it to come forth and face it,
Mm.
and also to try and control it in a way that is manageable, it can do a lot of damage.
Yeah. All right.
Because can you imagine, most of our shadow side,
Mm.
shadow wounds comes really from childhood.
Mm.
As a child, our parents would teach us to always do good, always, well, I can't say perfect, but some level of perfection was
Yeah.
expected from us, especially in school. In class, if you made noise, you knew you were gonna get
A beating,
like
yeah,
some sort of punishment,
yeah,
right? Yeah, or a
eh,
beating.
yeah,
And you knew that if you were quiet, you wouldn't get into trouble.
mm,
So this was sort of like a conditioning that was intentionally but also unintentionally done, that we carried with us as we grew
yeah,
into adulthood.
mm,
That formulates part of our shadow side, because there's a lot of unspoken feelings, a lot of unspoken and undealt with experiences
yeah.
that are being, you know, repressed in our subconscious, that we haven't dealt with,
That is true.
that then like come out at the most random times and hinder us from greatness, really, to be honest.
Mm,
So when it comes to spirituality, when you merge all of what I've said together, when you look at spirituality, it is basically facing your shadow side.